Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Well, good morning. How you doing, huh? Good morning and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm in a positive state. What state are you in? And I don't mean Alabama. I want to know what state of mind are you in, right? Can I get an amen? Yes, we are here again. Guess what we're doing? Fulfilling one of the greatest promises known to man. The one that promises that when we come together like-minded, hearts that are joined, souls that are united, we come together to fulfill the promise that where two or more of us come together, something wonderful is going to happen. And today is no exception. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and here's my sidekick. This is my little Ed McMahon in female mug version, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. You know, I bought some of that Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I like it. I see why the line is always so long. Forget Starbucks. I can't even pronounce half the stuff they got on the menu. Plus, I ain't trying to miss a mortgage payment buying their coffee. So there it is. So good morning. And today, we're getting there, y'all. Today is Thursday, right? Is it? Well, it's the 9th. The 9th day of September. Yep, calendar says it. It's Thursday. And where's that sun coming from? Oh, the sky. So anyway, welcome to the show. Oh, y'all know I have a garden for the very first time. And I brought a cucumber on one day. It was like this long. And I was like, ooh, look at my garden. Child, I went out there. Those radishes. Well, first of all, I didn't follow the instructions. You know, that's how I burnt the lawn up trying to fertilize it. I should start a segment called Don't Try This at Home. unless you read the instructions. So anyway, you know how it says on there. I did everything, built up the soil, did all the stuff, compost, all the. Then I get to this, I said, I ain't getting no plants. I'm doing it from scratch. So I put the seeds in, but I read on the back and they're like so many inches or whatever apart. I was like, when I opened it, they were so little. I was like, this is too little. I just poured the whole thing. So I went out there like, when the carrot's gonna be ready? When the carrot's gonna be ready? And then some said, well, pull on one and see. That don't make no sense. Look at that carrot. Follow the instructions. That's all I got to say. So anyway, speaking of following, I have a gentleman here today. He's been here before. You know, I got to move because that sun there. Okay, I have to move way back here. When I bring him in, I'm getting up and shutting the blinds in there. Whew. Tucker Bearden. Oh, Tucker. Tucker and I came to know each other, I don't know, about 4 years ago. It 5 years ago. Lord, it has been a minute. And we'll get into how that all happened. But he's here today. And I'm about to put some testimonials out inside my brand for they asked me, I'm working with some people out of London to get my systems and stuff in place. Got a lot of great opportunities and products coming your way any day now. And so we wanted testimonials, right? They said, so they asked me, you know, I've coached about, I think, 70 some people. And currently I have these, right? Tucker was one of the first. And so they asked me for the top 5 greatest experiences of working with people. And Tucker was in that 5, of course. And so there's Tucker, Misty Lane, Sonny Von Cleveland, Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman, and Daniel Echeverria, you know, Weekly Dose of Dano. And so then he reached in about he's got some stuff coming up, a great event in Atlanta, asked me to come and participate. So, you know, I said, yeah, right. So anyway, Tucker's here. One of the most impressive journeys from point A, where you're at, to point B, which is everything beyond where you're at. And I'm so honored to have him here today. So you guys put your heart into it, put your hearts on the screen, and, you know, let's do what we do, a bathrobe moment, welcome extraordinaire for my good friend and colleague, Tucker Bearden. Tucker Bearden. Hi, Tucker. How are you?
Howdy, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. I am so glad. I'm trying to get your little, you got a lot of stuff. I'm getting your banners ready. Say hello to everybody. Tell them where you're at in the world, and we'll get started.
Howdy, everybody. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
You are?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I thought you were just having your event there. You mean you live there now?
Well, temporarily, while putting the event together, I'm going to be staying here, connecting to the community, actually going out face to face and talking to people about the event instead of just promoting it on the internet.
Okay. Well, you know, the last Power We was in Atlanta.
Yes, and
we've got a lot of good friends down there.
Exactly, and I'm really excited for you to share the stage and pick your brain on see how you pulled off such a phenomenal event.
That was a good one. Well, they all are. You know, the first one was here in Chicago in 2018, and then in 2019 we went down there, and then COVID hit. But we're back April 28th here in Chicago again at the Stan Mansion. But yeah, we made some history down there. Our 8th grader that won our essay contest, Melanie Ramos, she got a huge endowment from some benefactors to make her vision come true based on what she wrote. And MTV was in the house because, you know, Justin Blue was on the stage and he was filming The Real World at the time. So, and then we ended up getting the award from the United Nations from that event. So
you knocked it all out of the park.
Well, you know, it wasn't me, it was we. It was every spirit, every frequency that converged. Again, the promise of where 2 or more come together. That's the kind of stuff that happens. So yes, we're going to get into what's going on down there with your event here in a second. But why don't you, while I shut the blinds, I'm going to step out for a second, tell everybody a little bit about where it began, Little Tucker. And
right.
just give them, let them know where point A was. Because if they don't know, it's going to be hard for them to believe you went from there to this. So go right.
Well, howdy, everybody. It's nice to connect with you, and I do appreciate each of y'all for being here. And Lauren's right. Is the story, it starts out dark, but it ends with a smile, but without your darkness, the light holds no value. I have a neurological abnormality known as Asperger's. It's a form of autism. It generally, in the easiest sense of saying it, I'm like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, not very good at communicating, kind of offend people sometimes, not on purpose. But I used to have panic attacks just going to Walmart and stuff like that. And I met Lauren, and actually through a text message of all things, he put a post on Facebook that said, if anybody's ever thought about sharing your story with the world, send a text to this message or send a text to this number. I sent a text. We got on the phone. 2 minutes later, he says, you're going to Vegas. I'm like, I ain't never been to Vegas. This is going to be cool. And Lauren has been working with me ever since. Because of him, I've changed so much in my life. I get to speak on stages in front of thousands of people and inspire people all over the world as proof that a diagnosis doesn't define who you are. It genuinely empowers who you are. It's not your definition. And Lauren watched me prove that every day. And he also gets on to me when I use limiting language, which I appreciate very much.
Well, I would just say, I tell people all the time, but back then I didn't have any social proof yet. You were one of the first. But I always said to people, I think I'm the Black Simon Cowell. And they would say, why would you say that? And well, that's how the Next Impactor came along, the competition, because I have a gift. I know it is, and I accept it as that. I receive it as that, where what is greater than gives me a brief glimpse down the road into the greatness of certain people. And you were one of those people. And I knew, the truth never changes, and it never changes on us. And it helped me to believe even further down that road of everything beyond what we are conditioned to believe, everything that's buried beneath all those symbols that we're groomed with as we start evolving from birth, and so I can't even begin to tell you how proud, not surprised, because I'm not surprised because I saw it, how proud I am of where you have come and where I see you are still going. So let's tell everybody. I was just, when we had a big team meeting yesterday, getting this stuff ready that I was telling you about. I want to talk to you about that in the green room afterwards, because I'm going to need you to record some stuff. I was telling my coach, he's in London, Marcin, and the whole team was there. My VA, everybody, Banky, what is she? What do you call that? Website developer. Oh. And my Facebook ads guy, Justin Sharpton, we were all there. And so you're up next. We did Daniel, and you were next on the list. And they were in Misty Lane, and they thought Misty Lane's story was something, which it is. And then I got to you, and I was telling them about that day at Piggly Wiggly. Oh. And what happened? Mm-hmm. And what happened? Tell everybody about that. Why don't you tell them that story?
So I'm going to give you the shortest version of the story I can, out of respect for everybody's time. But like I said, I have social issues, and my social anxiety used to be so bad that it was debilitating, quite crippling, to be honest. One of my first jobs, if not my first job, not really sure, was working at a place called Piggly Wiggly. And it was in it's just a little broke down town, outside of nowhere. And I normally do stocking. Okay. And this day they put me on bagging for the first time. So I'm bagging groceries and everything. Everything's fine. And then I guess it was lunch hour or something, but people started rushing in everywhere. And I have a problem with hypersensitivity. So I get overstimulated by sounds and things like that.
I've seen it.
And it's
a real thing.
and it's terrifying to be honest.
Scared me.
And I had a panic attack, or I broke down and was in the process of falling over that edge into a panic attack.
Yeah.
And everybody's crowding around trying to help you, and what they don't know is they're really hurting you.
Right, making that situation a little bit worse.
Yeah, but what I heard, like, you would think that you would hear all the people helping you, but I only heard two things while I was laying on that ground. I heard my own heart beating, and I heard this woman screaming. The woman I was bagging groceries for, she said, "Oh my God, why would you hire a retard? What's wrong with you people?" And I don't particularly remember the walk home, but I do remember why I walked home. About an hour or so later, my employer approached me. She had a write-up slip that she forced me to sign. I wasn't even given an option. She said that you are incapable of working around others. And I was disruptive and incapable of working around others. So I walked home, and this is where the story takes a bit of a dark turn. And this is the beginning of where we are here today. I went upstairs. I wrote a letter to my family and told them why that I was leaving, and I attempted to kill myself. And obviously it didn't work.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So I hung myself from a second-story window, and
Tell them what you used.
A ski rope, and a new one. That's how you know there was some kind of intervention. It'd never been used before.
Okay.
And when's the last time a ski rope broke?
It wasn't some kind of intervention. It was a divine intervention, because ski ropes don't break on their own. They wear thin and snap.
But they stretch.
Yes, they do.
They stretch. This one snapped, and it looked like somebody had cut it. And it hit. I bounced. I fell because I was hanging my feet out the window, and when I pushed forward, as I was going to the ground, my feet tapped the ground, and it snatched me back up and then snapped. So, and I didn't even, no bruise, no crick, nothing. So I was quite disappointed. But I'm not now. I'm glad that it didn't happen. But yeah, that was the beginning of it, because it was trying to escape. I didn't know.
Exactly. And right here, I'm popping these things on because, I think about the time I saw Oprah getting her Lincoln Center honors way back. I'm talking about fat Oprah, not before she got all cute and stuff, right? Well, because that's how people follow, when she was on the air here in Chicago, the Oprah Winfrey Show, right?
Is she skinny now?
Well, yeah, she went through that thing where she was too skinny, if you ask me, when she pulled that wagon out with all that fat in it. And that scared me. But then she's perfect, and she was perfect before. But, everybody referred to her. So that's just the name they put. That's a symbol. Yeah. So what? Her soul was exactly the way the shape it was supposed to be, and still is. So my point is, when she delivered that speech, when she held up her Lincoln Center, they put it on their neck. And she said, "I remember when I was in Chicago and I was doing whatever she was doing on the air. It wasn't weather, but it was some little thing." And she said she was talking to them about moving to, trying to get bigger opportunities. And they said, "Well, no one's going to put a woman that looks like you," or whatever it was. He goes, "You have about as much talent as I think it was a sack of potatoes." That's what it was, a sack of potatoes. And so to that person, she held it up and she goes, "To that person who said a sack of potatoes."
Oh, wow. That's
How
awesome.
about these potatoes, right?
Did you know her first job was Kirby?
Who, you? Oh, her.
Yeah. Her first job ever was selling Kirby.
We don't get to that because you did it too. But here's my point. That woman, talking about, why did you hire a retard? Well, why did that retard become a Ziegler certified legacy? So why did that retard go out and do what we see on the screen? So why did that retard write a book that is just phenomenal? Why? Because you know what? Nothing stands up and stays with us, really, but the truth. It is the only thing in the universe that never changes and never changes on us. And you were being protected until you could hear and feel your truth. And so what a wonderful thing that was that day. And here you are now. Tell people, you didn't like when I met you. Do you remember? I remember we had a Zoom call. You were in your bedroom. Remember that? And I saw those books, and you had books on one side of the room, and then you had other books. Tell everybody about what that was all about.
Are you talking about the ones that were stacked?
You were living through those books. You know how
Yeah.
you were.
So I heard Zig Ziglar say one time, you can have anything in this world you want if you're only willing to help enough other people get what they want. And I didn't really understand that at first. But over time it came obvious that meant be the blessing and live within blessings. But in order to truly bless people, you need to step a bit out of ignorance. And I started reading books, and I became obsessed with self-development. What he's talking about, there were literally over 500 books stacked up in my room. I'd read, if not skimmed, all of them. Some books you find the point real quick and you don't have to finish it. But I did. I was reading each book I would read. I would add to the stack.
Right.
And I would just add to it and add to it. And it got to the point where they went nearly to the ceiling, and they went out. I mean, it was good 10, 15 feet in two different directions.
Because I was like, good Lord. And let me just say, I'm getting ready to show something. I'm giving y'all a warning. Here's the disclaimer. I'm probably gonna cry. And it's a combination. It's you two are right beside each other in this photo I'm about to show. But one of my greatest moments in life, honestly, was because when you came to Las Vegas for Authority Maker Boot Camp, which was my first event. When you got on that plane, how many times had you flown?
Oh, I don't think I'd ever flown before.
You hadn't. I remember it. You hadn't. And of all places, for a person who can hear the electricity coming through the wires, hear glass, clinking, ice cubes clinking in people's glasses in a room.
Thinking about it.
Remember when that happened? When we were all sitting out there, Brian and Joshua Berglund and all of us, and you started having that thing. We were watching it. Thank God Brian was there. Oh, speaking of, how do you walk past right on cue? Tucker's here. Hi, Tucker. Tucker's like a son to us. And say hi to your mama. I'm just playing. Hi, sorry.
I miss you, buddy.
I'll pay for that one for the next 3 weeks. Trust me. Okay, going back to the jewelry store. So anyway, here's what I'm talking about. When you got on the stage, and this is on my website, I'm going to show you guys. You came there. The rock stars that were ready came and got on the stage, and this picture that Scott Gang captured, you had just come off the stage. That's Michael Kyra. And I think you spoke for 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I think your standing ovation was even longer than the time you spoke. And that picture, when I look at it, and Misty Lane too, that was her first time down in Atlanta.
I've got chills, man. This is awesome.
Misty told her story. I think she did a full keynote, and I think they were on their feet for 3-4 minutes. And if you look at the pictures, look at it. Just look at it. You guys, when we're told that when we do our best, like the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally, and always, always, always do your best. And you see things like that. I know for a fact. Bye, honey. Have a great day. See you at 7:15, right? Okay. It's not just a photo. Those aren't just photos. I'm telling you what I know. Just like I get glimpses into other people's greatness, when those moments provide me with glimpses into a great moment down the road. And I know that moment for me is, I know that when I transition from what is to what is next, I'm going to have like a sizzle reel of the greatest moments, the seeds that were thrown without even knowing what you were doing. And I know that those photos, you and Misty, will be a part of that sizzle reel. I know it. And so I'm grateful to you for that. When for the believers out there, that great book that was written called the Bible, there's something in there that says, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. That means that is speaking to those moments you create, like we looked at just now. They will follow me all the days of my life. And so I say that to encourage you all out there. When Tucker and I got together, and it was I just put it out there that morning, just a plain little old thing, not knowing if anybody would respond or not. So many of us worry about how many people are watching, how many views. That's the equivalent of footprints in your front yard after the snow, but they're going the opposite direction of the door. That just means somebody cut across your property. They don't even know you probably live there. But it's those things like the emojis and the shares and the like. That's when people do little things that they didn't have to do to let us know you did something that resonated with me, and it's just a wonderful thing. So Tucker, tell us about what you're doing today. Habitat Warrior, you speak all over the place. I want to talk about the book, set up the book, the plate that broke the world.
Yes, it's actually being renamed. It's actually being renamed and recovered and republished. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that title.
So the title. Are you talking about the title it is right now?
That broke the world. How now? Where in the world did that come from?
I'm gonna grab the book. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a good one. There you go.
That didn't take long. So anyway, so it's called The Plate That Broke the World because of this. So it was a visualization that I came up with in my head to explain a process in the subconscious mind. But in order to explain it to my girlfriend at the time, I drew it on a paper plate.
Okay.
And that's where the name itself derives from. And the book itself is going to be renamed and recovered because people were like, dude, it sounds cool and it looks cool, but it kind of looks like a murder mystery. And like, it just, you know what I mean? So it's going to be renamed something along the lines of How to Live in the Moment.
Okay. So what tell us about, because I know how your mind works. Because I know it came and I can picture you making some iced tea or something, and 5 minutes later you're sitting down there doing that book, what some people might call out of nowhere, which we know doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Tell us about the moment the download came about this book. Ooh. The urgency.
It came like a bolt of lightning. I actually, and you're right. I didn't write this. It came through me. All I did was sit down and let it flow.
See, you remember I used to say that all the time when we started working together. Through me, not from me.
Yes.
And you guys, impactors, influencers, people that believe, people that care and want to be of service. Let me tell you something. No such thing as writer's block. We don't have to, as people moving within and through purpose, we don't have to worry about writer's block, getting stuck, coming up with something. We are the riverbed. Everything we have as far as content is the water that flows through that riverbed. We have one job and one job only, and that's to keep that waterway clear of dams. And you know what? I'm going to tell you about that waterway thing. I got you planted that seed in me when we first started working together. Remember when you told me about how water, when it gets dammed, it immediately starts decay and this and the other? When you put that seed in there, see, when we do our best, what is greater than comes along at the perfect time and does the rest. Can I get an amen? And it's true. It's true. So Tucker, you sat down. Did you even know what you were writing about?
So to a degree, okay. So it all came in a flash, and this was the shortest explanation of what I saw. And I explained in here in one of the chapters called The Void. as an Aspie, almost all Aspies talk about this, and I don't think it's just Aspies that do this. But we have this white void that we can picture, and it allows us to build machines and test theories and things before we try them in real life. And if they work there, they work in the real world. Well, that's where this came from. I was in a relationship. I was struggling. Could not figure out why we kept clashing with each other. So I sat down and I went to the void and I was like, look, there's an answer. Please just tell me what I need to hear. Show me what it is that I need. And it all happened in a matter of seconds. I saw this plate spinning and rocks falling on it and all these ropes tied to it. And it was a visualization of a process that happens in our subconscious mind when we create loops. And the loops, the bad story that you tell in your head that you repeat over and over and over again, saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, over and over until finally you snap.
Lord Jesus, yes.
Oh yeah. Well, the book is about how to get rid of that loop. It's how to get away from it. How to not let the things that fell on your plate 10 years ago swing back around and rip your garden to pieces.
You know what? Let me butt in right there. And for you all that are maybe here and never been here before, and you're like, what in the world is that bell? That's the bell of purpose. When you hear that bell rings, it means some truth is out there. It is. And why? Because the truth has a ring to it. So if you multitasking or whatever, that's my way of saying lean in, tune in, and pay attention. Yep. So listen, but you're absolutely right. I had a download just the other day working on a speech for next week that I have to present here in my town. And I was shown a conveyor belt, which it keeps going, goes around, and a treadmill. Now the treadmill is what we get on because we're building and taking care of this.
Yeah.
Our vessel. It goes round and round and round. But the conveyor belt, here's the difference. The conveyor belt has stuff coming down that somebody else is putting on it. And see, we think, when you say think of Lucy and Ethel on in the chocolate factory thing, when they were trying to grab, they had chocolates everywhere.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, knowing what to pick up off the belt and what to leave on that sucker. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of, I get it, that loop. You see what I'm saying? Get off when you get what you need, and you said it, I wrote it down. That was key. We used to work on that. Remember the difference between need and want.
Oh, big.
Show me what I want. One is a wish list. When you ask and speak something through need, it comes with a plan. The doctor tells you need to lose 50 pounds or you're going to die. Here's what we need to do. If you want to lose 10 pounds on your own, and you say, I need to lose 10 pounds, and you're going to say, well, I need to shop better because I need to prepare better food to lose the weight I want. But when you say, I want to lose 10 pounds, down the road, we've gained it.
If you want more money, here's $1.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that was very interesting. Okay, so you asked for what you needed, and what came down? What came on the bill?
It honestly, there's a whole chapter that goes on explaining it, but what it came is I saw this huge disc spinning, and I didn't understand when I was looking at it first. That's how the void works. It's out of life of its own. It's up to you to interpret what you see. So I see this disc spinning, and I walk under it, and as I walk under it, I look up, and there's all these rocks falling on it, and these rocks represent offsets in life, challenges, debacles. Failures, for those of you who don't know what debacle means. So
I was pretending like I knew. I was like, is that a donut? Is that one of those?
I'd like 2 glazed debacles and a soda water.
It sounds like, because Brian's family, of course, are what is it? Rebzinski, Polish, and they got all those things right. Anyway, go ahead. Debacle.
So all these things are falling on the rock, and I noticed that as they were falling, they would the plate's spinning, and due to the momentum, the rocks are being flung off of the side. No big deal.
Yeah, centrifugal force.
Yes, no big deal. Okay, so I didn't think nothing of it, but then in the distance, I saw my girlfriend, and her plate, she had a plate over her head, but it was filled with stones and barely spinning. And then I looked back up and I noticed that as the stones were falling, there were ropes, which in the book they're called false tethers. There were ropes being connected from the center point, the point of focus, to the stones. And then no matter how far they got out away from the plate, they were still connected.
It makes me picture that ride at the fair, the swings, which I can never get on because I did once and threw up all over everybody.
That's
yeah, exactly, you know what I mean? How it's going around and like
now
that.
Imagine that swing is spinning around and everyone's you're no longer here, you're spread out, and now there's trees that pop up. What's going to happen? You're going to tangle
get smashed against them.
Exactly. And that's what happened is the trees, the garden around the plate represents everything you're building in your world. Everything that you are, all the relationships that you're building, all the things that you're in your business, in your life that you're developing, and your seeds of greatness that you've watered for so long. And if you have that false tether, that false connection to something that happened, that stone from so long ago, it may take a while for it to swing back around, but eventually it's coming back around. Absolutely. And if you don't cut that tie, if you don't create an ego barrier, a barrier on the outside edge of the plate that's heated up and will cut those ties and protect you from your own ego, that stone will swing back around and take out one of your trees, crush your flowers, tangle up. And here's the worst part, is it won't just destroy your garden, it'll wrap up in the trees. And what happens if you throw a ball of yarn into the spokes of a tire? They wrap up and eventually stop. And this is what happened in our breakup. This is why people break up, is they create so many. The point of focus is you and your partner. When you come back to focus, that's all that matters.
Right.
It's here and now.
Right.
But you create these tethers and they wrap around a tree here and a tree there, and they slow the rotation of this disc. Life is motion. So
yes,
it takes away from the motion, and eventually there's so many false tethers that even if you could get it spinning, you can't navigate through them to even see your partner anymore. All you see are the ropes.
Okay. I get it. We're going to go deeper when we come back. We have to take a short pause, just 1 minute, and pay attention to this promo. Prisoner of War, a new book by one of my great friends, one of my mentors, and one of the most wonderful people I've ever met, Mark Haddis. And I want you to take a look at that. It's all about mental health. It's a book, and I want you to take a look, and we'll talk about that again. But there it is, and we'll be right back with more from Tucker Bearden. And I want you to think about Tucker. When we come back, I'm going to start the second part of this interview. I want you to think about what went through your mind that very first day when we met, when I told you that all of this was going to happen. We'll be right back.
Except I received this insight about a title called Prisoner of War, the book.
Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. And before we bring wonderful Tucker back in, Tucker Bearden, I wanted to just remind you, you get big changes sometimes from small choices. I gave up Diet Coke. Yes, I did. And I had to because I wanted V8 as a sponsor, right? And they're asking me, well, how often do you drink it? I couldn't lie. I was like, well, when I go to somebody's house and they have it, and they say, would you be willing to give it a try for 30 days? And if you believe in it, we can talk again. I did. And every day, I make a better choice. Why? Because instead of all the sugar and all the other things that aren't serving me, this, on the other hand, only 60 calories, 100% vegetable juice from concentrate, and 2 full vegetables servings inside every can, right? If you want it hot, they got it hot. If you wanted a smaller can, they got a smaller can. But all you need to do is try it. V8, it's easy to locate. Go down your juice aisle of your local grocer, and there you'll find it. Trust me, pop the top, and don't say, oops, I could have had a V8. Delicious. Tastes just like candy. Remember that? Vita Vita Vegemin. Okay, Tucker, back in you come. Welcome back. Tell us about, I want to ask you, what did you think, Tucker? I've never asked you this question, but when we got off that call, do you remember anything about what went through your head? Because I sure remember what went through mine. Brian can tell you.
I remember very distinctly thinking that you like about the law of attraction and how Zig was talking about you bless people and blessings will come. You know, I spent all that time giving pizzas to people and just trying to talk to people on Facebook Live, doing whatever I could to bless people. And what went through my head is, wow, somebody believes in me. You know, like this is going to be real. I'm going to be able to go out and touch lives the way that I dreamed about doing all those times in that 10 foot by 10 foot concrete room. That wasn't prison, by the way.
Right.
Just so I know.
Right. And you know what I want to say? Here's the juxtaposition. Here's the purpose. Everything we do, as long as we mean it, no matter what it looks like, no matter how small or inconsequential you may think it is at the time, if we mean it and is from the heart and of service to someone else, it then has every chance in the universe to become meaningful to them. And I want to, I'm hungry. I would split this with you, but clearly,
yeah,
it's a carrot for one.
Bro, that is the saddest carrot I've ever seen.
But it's a start.
It is, though. Hey, you got to start with French fries before you get a whole tater.
You see what I'm saying? Tater. So here's my point in asking that question. When the woman in Piggly Wiggly said what she said and it sent you to putting the ski rope around your neck, which was not the plan, clearly, it went that way. It took one time to hear that. But then look what happened down the road. It took one time. When you heard what you heard, look where you took it. The other direction. And you're still here. You're still here for the same reason you were still here when the ski rope was severed. Why? Because greater than knows, you know, what's right around that corner, known as the future. So tell us about this event. What are you calling it? Who's it for? And are you doing it all by yourself? You're partnering? How's that all coming together? And when is it?
Okay, so I'll start with the last question. The goal is to make it February 1st, my birthday.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
Spell that.
BERF
day?
Yeah, BERF day. It's birthday.
That's what I love about you. Okay.
Hey, you know, it ain't fair. I went to school in Arkansas and they said spell it how it sounds, and then I get an F whenever I spell it TATER. I don't understand. Yeah, it's hogwash.
See what I'm saying?
Anyway,
so February 1st.
The event is called the Ziegler Legacy Relationships Mastery Conference, and it's a mouthful. I know. It really is. But whenever I went and trained with Tom Ziegler and the son of
Ziegler's son, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I went and trained with him. Tom told me one time, he said, Tucker, I believe you'll do greater things from stage than any Ziegler that ever lived or ever will live could do. And that just lit a fire in my soul. And when I went up there, I became a Ziegler Legacy. which means they back me whenever I go speak. I represent Zig, so I have to come to a different standard or hold myself to a different standard. But they taught me how to put on Zig's workshops. And one of Zig's workshops was building and maintaining better relationships. And it's all revolving.
It ties in with that book of yours, doesn't it?
Yes, it ties right in with the book. So the book will be a big part of the conference. Now, so the entire conference is really just how to build and maintain better relationships with your friends at home, your love life, and in your business. I read a book recently that's a bit out of my genre. It's called She Comes First. And I know that's not something that we usually talk about live. Like sex isn't something we talk about, but it was a
wait.
Okay. What?
Okay, hold on. My nasty ass. Of course, when you said that, I was like, that's a good. But then you followed it up with sex.
Yes,
is it really about?
Yes, and it's all about that. Now, there's a reason that I bring that up. That's because that's where a lot of guys fall short. I mean, realistically, it's a challenging relationship, so it's an avenue that I needed to look into.
And a lot of guys are selfish.
Yeah, a lot of guys are selfish. As like, for instance, and I've never said any of this on camera before because it used to be embarrassing, but now I honestly I'm not worried about it. Personally, I'm one of the guys that I get my pleasure from her getting hers, not from me getting mine. If she don't get hers, I don't want mine. You know what I mean?
I don't know about all that, but anyway, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, my point is this: the book covers an aspect of relationships that people are scared to even discuss.
Thank you.
And guys out there, look, dude, you got to man up, bro. If you fall short in the bedroom, there are places to learn how to do better, bro.
Well, I know. I'm married to the male Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, and it ain't
right. That's his thing.
Yeah, it is. And it ain't.
And he says the same thing, Tucker. So you're right on point.
Yeah, quit watching porn, bro. But anyway.
Did you hack my computer?
Huh? Yeah, you know how it goes, bro. So besides that, that's just one avenue. So there will be an aspect of the event that does actually discuss this.
So is it 1 day, 2 day, 3 day?
2 days.
How many?
2 days.
2 days.
Yes.
And so everybody that's coming there, I'm scared to say that word now. Everybody that's appearing, bringing some different element, I'm assuming. So what is your hope for the attendees after the 2 days are over? Everybody's back into their little corner of the world. What would you hope has changed for them?
So I want people. So have you ever heard Zig say, "Don't kick somebody's cat"? I have heard that. Yeah. Well, for those of y'all that don't know what that means,
Ethel and Lucy, because I'll kill you dead if you kick my cats. Go ahead. Go ahead.
For those of y'all who don't know what that means, kicking someone's cat is whenever you have a bad day and then you end up saying something or doing something that makes someone else have a bad day, and that domino effect ends up them going home to the point where they get so mad that their kid goes and kicks the cat, and that poor kitty didn't do nothing. All right. So this is what I want to prevent. I want people not to come to this event and go, well, I'm going to have to come to 5 more of those events before I really get a change. No, I want people to come and not be motivated, but inspired to go home, hug their children, create deeper connections with their wife, actually be able to perform in the bedroom, bring the family together, and bring people's businesses together, because in today's time more than ever, especially with the masks and COVID, we need to come together.
We really do.
We're disconnected more than ever. And that's what the point of the event is bring people back together, show people how to actually connect.
Yes.
How to actually have a family and a relationship. Because in today's time, I don't think, and guys, don't jump down my throat for this, I don't think most men know how to treat a woman. To be completely honest.
Let's just say their significant other.
Their significant other. I don't
because
think.
I know how to treat a woman, my sister, my aunt, my girlfriend, my friend girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's say significant
But
other.
I know I have a husband, so I know you mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Just treat, how you treat that person that is supposed to complete you, and who you are in charge of helping to complete. That's the thing.
Come back to taking out the trash, man. When you first got together, you were excited about helping and doing everything, but now the little bitty things, there
is a thing known as the honeymoon phase.
The very first chapter of the book is the smallest pebbles, the biggest waves. And that's what it's about, is the little things at first don't even create a wake. You can throw a boulder into your little ocean y'all have in the beginning, and you don't even create a wave. And then eventually you drop a pebble in there and there's a tsunami. Well, we got to get back to the being able to throw a boulder in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tucker, there was something, and I rebuke you, senior moment. Be gone to the left, Felicia. Wait a minute, it's on the way back. I hear it coming. Here it come down the hallway. The question is almost here. Okay, so Tucker, tell me how it feels, because I showed the picture when you came off the stage from first time ever speaking, and when we look at this, it's just amazing to me. I'm not surprised. I expected it, but when we look at this, but more importantly, when you look at this. Because do you remember, let me just say this while we're looking at this picture. Do you remember when it came down to us talking about coaching, right? And I throw my little price out there. Do you remember what you told me you had to pay me with? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly.
Some jelly. Remember we were talking about the rhubarb?
Oh my goodness, I do remember that.
I tell that story all the time because I remember briefly inside my spirit, I went, he got to be great. And I heard what is greater than say, do you know how difficult that must have just been for this man to say, well, I don't have anything. And you put your foot on me, you said, look, I literally have holes in my shoes. Do you remember that? And I said, you know what? Good enough. And we've been together ever since.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you on the screen there. And I'm so glad I listened to what is greater than, that I know that voice better than I know my own, because my own is the one that used to always tell me the lies, you see. And so look at that up there.
Can I share something with you about that moment that you didn't know?
Yeah.
I want to personally thank you, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you and your coaching and pushing me the way you did. But I don't know if I even told you this, but not only did those shoes have holes in them, I had blisters on my feet from because where I worked with the horses. Right. And I walked upwards of 5 to 6 miles a day with those shoes. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't but maybe a few days after I started working with you that a man came up to me and handed me $100, and he said, young man, I saw you take your shoe off the other day while you were at work, and I saw you peel that bloody sock off of your foot. He said, you take this and you go get you some boots. And I remember that day. I remember everything that we had talked about. I remember you showed me how you had cut out of cardboard or the back of a notepad and put it in the shoe, in the boot. Remember that? Right. And it would wear through. You told me the whole story. Yeah. I'll never forget it. Yeah, those shoes, man, it was a big deal to me. That was the first time somebody other than when you came and said, hey, look, I want to put you on stage, and you blessed me with your coaching, even though I had nothing to bring to the table. That was the first act of kindness. Pointless. They didn't gain anything from it. It was a seamless seemingly meaningless act of kindness, but it was the single act of kindness that I needed in that moment to realize that, you know, there are others in this world, and you know, if you need help, you can ask other people.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing a lot of people can't do.
Know the difference in a handout and a hand up.
Big difference. And you want to know what my second favorite, most memorable moment with you in Vegas was?
What's that?
We laugh about this all the time, Brian and I. Remember we took you to Cirque du Soleil?
Uh-oh.
You remember? Yeah. And Brian and I both fell asleep. It was the worst Cirque du Soleil ever. It was nothing like we thought. So everybody in the place was sleeping. And I remember I woke up briefly. I looked over, and the only person it looked like was in there was on the edge of the seats was you. Because that stuck in my mind. Because, you know, there's something about whenever we have a first, it's a magical, mystical moment. Because no matter how many times through the journey after you experience something similar or the same, that's all in one category. What came next? But that first will always stand alone. And I watched the wonderment in your eyes, and I said, the way he's looking at those people up on that stage is exactly how the world's going to look at him when he's on the stage. And I was not wrong again. So, Tucker, I'm gonna put you. I have you had so many, and I'll put
the video from YouTube. I think that's what we was.
Where is? And first, I'm gonna pop up here and leave it up here. You guys, if you want to get the book, head over to the website, the landing page for theplatethatbroketheworld.com before it gets changed and recovered. So, did you send me the YouTube thing?
Yeah, it's the very first.
It's inside the. Okay, you said it. That's that one at the top.
Yes, man. Yes, sir.
You did, yes. Oh.
I did. Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
You know what? That never happens to me, but it happens to Brian all the time. Like, somebody called me ma'am today. Do I look like a woman? So we got 3 minutes up, but we're gonna watch almost all of this as we head out of here. Let me get back over here, and you guys, here we go. Let's take a look. You want to set this up for us?
Yeah. So this video is somebody asked me, why do you share your message? And I didn't know how to answer them in one sentence, so I made a video.
Okay. What drives you is the name of this. Here we go. Take a look.
What drives you to share your experiences? That's a great question. You know, I actually believe that if a person obtains knowledge capable of improving the lives of others, it is a raw act of selfishness to withhold that information from the world. It has been said many times that the graveyard is the richest place in the world because of all the ideas and untapped potential.
I know that's in one of my videos too.
Failed to share their message. See, I speak to people with Asperger's about how to live life to
that's our stage.
Fighting our internal battles, but the simple truth is that I found a way to help people in general, and in doing so, discovered my purpose. Those of us suffering from Asperger's have no one to turn to when looking for help. Doctors and psychiatrists pump us full of expensive medications and tell us that it's safer to stay inside. Whether you are on or off the spectrum, you deserve to live. You deserve to experience life. Many people take for granted the little things that make life worth living. Like knowing when people are laughing at you and not with you, or understanding sarcasm and that something you are saying is hurtful to someone else. Thankfully, we live in a world where blessings come in the most deceitful ways because Mother Nature is no fool. We may not have been dealt the best hand, but know that if you can hold your composure long enough, even twos have been known to beat aces. We are given these challenges for a reason. Everything has a purpose. Whether it needs to build you up or break you down, it makes you stronger. These are the points in your life where you had the opportunity to become who you are. People are going to tell you that things are impossible and you can't do it. But they are only impossible until someone does it. When Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, it was because of a belief in not only his abilities as a runner, but in the human ability to face the impossible and in a single moment change the definition to possible. Every person is a book worth reading. Everyone is here for a reason. So that's why I shared my message. To be living proof that a diagnosis does not define who you are or what you are capable of achieving. Someone else's observations of you hold no power over your future unless you give them the power to control your life. So what truly drives me to share my experiences is a solid belief that when we share our messages, we help ease the pain for people, and there is no greater purpose than service to others.
Amen. Oh, Tucker, awesome. I want to thank you so much for coming today, pouring into all of us and allowing us to pour into you. And I want to say this as we get out of here. It's so interesting to see that because I remember the day, it was like shortly after my Goldcast came out, and you were ready to do that right there. And I was like, Tucker, wait for it. Let your truths go through that door first, not the fancy music and all of that. And I see you waited, because that is perfection. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And thank you all for sharing your heart and soul and helping us fulfill our theme this season. Show me your soul, and we'll show you ours. If you, shameless plug, are interested in finding some of the things that, or more, there, because there's been a lot more coming in since then, and you're just looking for a way to find your way to everything that is meant to be yours. It's already here. It's right there. Can you see it? If not, I got some lenses you might want to take a peek through. Get at me, LaurenMichaelsHarris.com/coaching. And don't forget, get over and get the book. The Plate That Broke the World.com is where you can find it. I want to thank you again. You're welcome back anytime. I'm so honored to be, Brian said, are you going to go? Are you going to Tucker State? I said, of course. It's his first event. I'll never forget the day you were on my stage for the very first time. And I hope to never forget the day that I am on yours for the very first time. You guys get out there. Tucker, say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, bye, everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming. And Lauren, thank you so much for having me. It truly was a blessing to be here. And,
always is.
And share.
I love you like my son. I love
you, buddy.
Seriously. You guys get out there today and do what we do. Love up on every situation and every person you encounter. Try your best. No, just do your best and leave everything you touch a little bit better than the way you found it. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m., God willing, on the front porch when Gary Stewart will be here. He helps. I went there last night. And when I say went there, this guy and his team, they are light workers who specialize in attaching your ancestral message to you. I'll tell you more about that. You'll learn more tomorrow morning when you show up for our next installment of Bathrobe Moments. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign.